The Bloodstone Chronicles, Book 1, A Darker Sun by David Inkling. Chapter 16. Festa. Tarquin Festa grew up in the rather rancid streets of Wilden. He watched his father, Sully, a blacksmith, for 30 years, grow physically powerful. He wields a hammer and shapes the metal underpinnings of the intricate world of the rich. But as he grows older, weaker, and increasingly more redundant, Tarquin sees that physical power alone is insufficient. Society rewards those who use their power to shape things indeed, but greater, so it seems to the malleable mind of the young blacksmith's son, are those who take things. Sully Festa hammers out his life in shaping countless shoes for their fancy horses and makes great iron hinges for the gates of luxury houses. This remains a daily reminder that the closed world of the rich is distinctly beyond them. Finally, Sully Festa fashions fancy locks to keep people of his own breed securely out of that shiny, attractive world. Tarquin has no intention of following his father into the forge. The Festas survive within a brutal world of pinching poverty. Each grasping day is a hunt for coin, and Tarquin, or Tark, as he is known to the other wolves on the street, finds it better to hunt in a pack. He picks coin from the ground as a child, and finds ready customers for other dainties he lifts, such as pocket watches or fancy jewels. He soon discovers he has skill in slipping a purse from a belt, more than a measure of aptitude for rifling the readies, and a rare talent for getting away with it too. He stalks the finer walkways of the city, draws close. He smells the rich scent of wealth on the cleanest streets, on the cleanest bodies of his victims, and on the perfumed skin of vulnerable women. He is never close enough to the rich to ease himself into their company, but he finds that there are other ways of benefiting from sudden dark encounters in the nighttime streets. He lurks where the wealthy customers go walking. For many of the fine rich folk have darker needs, and he learns to procure delightful things for their dainty or even dirty desires. It is a dangerous world, but he thrives upon it. Tark Festa picks his way through the grimy foundations of the city to acquire coin for each of his own necessary needs. And as he grows older, many of those same unnecessary ones that men delight in too. He moves with others, works the streets, finds his way easily to the front of the pack, and runs in the dark shadows of a society where men need blades, which he easily supplies from his father's forge. To cut a purse, you need a sharp edge, and Tark Festa is a sharp blade himself. Sooner or later, in that dark underbelly of the city, a blade is needed for all kinds of butchery, where he learns to cut a throat or two. It puts plenty more than meat upon the table, that is certain. He is the kind of blade to cut a fancy lace too, and it is a regular reward that he takes, and which pleases him very much. That had been his life for 20 years, until one dark night he follows an easy victim who is foolishly flaunting his most outrageous wealth in the shape of a fine silvered waistcoat. But it is too late when he discovers he has been lured into the dark hole of an alley. It is a trap, and he is quickly apprehended by guard from the bishop's palace, no less. Then he faces a simple choice: hang from the gallows as a warning to other common thieves and cutthroats, or wear the dark hood, pledge allegiance to the Iron Hand. It is Tark Fester's blade that slices into Bishop Bull. He made it. It is forged in the home forge, as are the swords that hang from the sides of each guard, each rider sheathed in their ornate scabbards. And most recently, it is the highly crafted knives, especially commissioned with their own monogram of the iron claw on each hilt, that find their way into numerous unwanted agitators whose bodies supply Callum Fuller, the taxidermist. The strength and power that Sully Fester had as a young man is waning. His son abandons the family home, and so it is essential that he finds assistance, a new apprentice. It is essential if he is to meet the exacting demands of the Iron Hand's orders. They create so much work, so much business, that Sully can no longer simply work alone, craft the tools and grow a business to meet demands. But that is easily fixed with so many moving in from the country. The country blacksmiths will need work, no doubt. As for his own boy, it does not take Tark Fester many days to establish himself as one of the most reliable riders of the Dark Hood. He reports directly to the bishops, demands respect from every commander, and finds no job too small in satisfying both his allegiance to Bishop Simon and his individual, particular desires. Each bishop has his own thirst. Fester may be new blood, but he is happy to spill blood. And the bishops are happy too. They pay well for their fresh blood. Fester is thankful for the bishops. Because of them, he no longer needs to hide in the haunt of shadows to find a pleasing kill. As a member of the Dark Hood, he can kill at will, within reason. He just has to find a reason. And in the Caltrops' new order, there are plenty of reasons. He remembers his first daylight victim, because he looked into her eyes as the life left her. She'd refused to surrender her books, even with her children threatened. She is held firmly in the grip of the guard, and her weak and broken husband lies pleading on the floor. The whining whelps demand their mother help them, as if they can trade their freedom for a few volumes. Fester grasps her hair, pulls back her head viciously to expose her throat, so that the vein in her neck is visible to the whole family. One slice is all it will take. Last chance, he says, ignoring the cool defiance in her eyes and her silence that he cannot thwart. She pushes her neck towards him, heedless of the blade, fearless in death. He makes it quick. The blood covers him and spoils his new boots. Then, when he has prized the book from her dead hand, he finds that it is just a slim copy of Sun Psalms, daft songs of worship. It is another few kills before he realizes where it is best to stand to avoid the spray of blood and the dying gushes that pump their lives out. with ever-decreasing surges. Soon he realizes that he does not need to kill each one. Sometimes a cut is enough. Sometimes he just watches the guard enact the kill. He uses the men of the guard like any other tool. When his youthful eyes watched his father take the hot iron from the fire, burning red and pliable, to be beaten into any shape required of the city, and to serve the folk who fashioned themselves in silk, he'd heard it scream in steam as it was thrust into the cold, hardening water. It is the demonic hiss he recalls. The unruly streets of Wilden are the forge and foundry of Tarquin Fester's own tempered mind. It heats his own pliant lust in the fires of squalid depravity, which are quenched in the scream and steamy underworld alongside the river. He has a taste for it, they say, the darker streets, the darker deeds. There is more than strength in his hand as he grips the sharpest of blades. There is pure pleasure, too. You can see it in his eyes, see it in the way he smiles at the thought of blood. But he isn't a fool. He realizes that sometimes, if he cuts too soon, there are awkward questions when the prisoner can no longer speak. So he tempers his desire, savors it with a subtle knowledge that there is always later. He works hard as he works on the new prisoners, leaving the silent ones. Their simmering secrets will need more persuasive and less than subtle approaches. He will use implements that he lets only his hands use, in secret, away from the eyes of others, where he can enjoy them properly.